Race 13 out of 30 brings us to California. The big old west side of America, we have a 2.5 mile super speedway race on hand for today. 150 laps around this track, a complete opposite of what we saw last week at Darlington. Darlington, side by side, felt like a rarity, and also felt like if you got side by side, it was hard to pass. This week, this track is not only wide enough to fit side by side action, but we can double that and give it to the next person. We can see a lot of 4 wide action here at this track, and on a rare instance, that can work. Now, probably one of the biggest issues that we will see from this track is the walls that come up very quickly on the exits of each turn. We'll get more in detail there once we actually look at the track. It's a D-shaped super speedway track, and if you know anything about our super speedway races, they are entertaining to watch. But before we get into that race and what we got going forward, let's take a jump back last week to Darlington, where we saw ourselves another first-time winner in Lucky picking up the win for the first time this season. However, they still sit 20th in points, 107 points back, so they are not in any contention for the championship just quite yet. But it's still very early on in the season. That could obviously change as time rolls on. What we will talk about in the points is what we got going into today's race, which is a 13-point gap between first and second. William took the second spot away last week after a pretty nice little second place finish. Almost, but not close enough to eke out a third win for the season. And if that third win would have been the case, the deficit would have probably been down to 9, maybe 8 points. But today, William has to make up 13 points, and with the way that these kinds of races are, that is not a gimme. That is not a gimme. But the points are getting pretty spaced out between the leader and whoever else. It is a 21-point gap between first to third, and then only 23 points to first to fourth. So third place could be taken away real quick between Noriboshi and Merriweather. David also has a chance to make something happen and get up to third place today in the points if they also have a good showing here today and finish about 8 or 9 spots ahead of Noriboshi. And then after that, it is almost a 17, actually exactly 17-point deficit between 5th to 6th. And the thing about that is, well, after you get past the top 6, everybody else is kind of just a out of contending ships situation. The points look pretty small compared to a lot of other championship points formats, but that still also means that this is kind of easy to think that there's a lot of people in contention for the championship. But as of this moment, realistically, only 5 are able to make something happen for the championship with the way that the points are formatted. So only 5 people have a chance to come out of today's race with the points lead. But you know, while that is the main thing about this series, it's really not the only thing. Wins do matter here in this series. We have 2 people so far with 2 wins on the season, and they're going to be looking to get 3 wins later today. Those 2 being William and David. Our points leader is still looking to get a win in the this season, as Aria is still without a win this season, but 147 laps led, and 4 top 10s and 3 top 5s. That does put them in a good spot, which is the points lead. And while William does have 2 wins and just as many top 5s and a little bit more top 10s, the issue with that is William has not been very consistent, and he's only led 74 laps, which it means a lot, especially when you don't lead a lap in many of the races. And William now sits 13 points back. Aria knows how to finish races, but William knows how to be up front at the same time too, but just not enough. This is what we're going to be looking at here for the qualifying, and that's the top 7. We'll go through the rest here momentarily. Again, not really anything crazy because with how Super Speedway races are, and as well as how these last few races have been, qualifying really doesn't mean much in this series. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. So races are long enough where qualifying really doesn't mean much. But, in any case, we'll go through it. At least the top 7. So last week, Fu didn't have such a great run, but he starts on the pole for today. Nana will start in 2nd, Bao will start in 3rd, David, who is coming into today's race 5th of the points, he sits 4th. Right out the top 5 is Lucky. Gura. Lucky starts 6th, last week's winner. And then Tairoki will start at 7th, and we'll go through the rest here momentarily. But this, once again, is the points shaking up heading into today's race. So that's 5 drivers, the top 5 drivers in this in the point standings. They are going to be the ones to watch mostly the most because they have a chance to come out of the day's race with the points lead. David's a long shot. Merriweather might be a long shot as well. Minoriboshi and William can take the points lead away if Aria somehow has a problem in this race, which is always possible. Now, before we get into the actual event, this is our next couple of races. We got California right now. Verdugo and Fuji coming up next. Those two will be races held internationally. And we'll talk more about Verdugo next week because of the fact that it is a very interesting track. Super similar to the track of Pocono, which we were at just a couple weeks ago, in that it is a triangular track. But differently, it is very banked because we're going uphill and downhill, and we're also turning right. So that's what that's general consensus of that track. It's a little bit more than just that, but we'll talk more about that when we get to that track. With that out of the way, let's set it down to trackside, and we will also go through the starting lineup for today's race, or farther deep into the starting lineup, I should say. We've already have gone through the top 6 or top 7 for the most part, but we'll go through it once more. So Nana starts on the outside on the front row, Fu starts on the inside on the front row. Bao in 3rd, David in 4th. Last week's winner of Lucky starts 6th, Gura starts 5th, Fifi starts in 8th, Tairoki starts in the 7th spot, DM will start in 10th, and DJ Overdrive starts in 9th. Melody starts in the 12th spot, where D starts in 11th. Kobo starts in 14th, Watson starts from the 13th spot. Iron Mouse starts from the 16th spot, Luby starts from the 15th spot. Risu starts in 18th, 17th goes to Bimble. 20th goes to Mel, 19th goes to Fillion. Dreamer will start 22nd. Anomizuki starts 21st. Fruit will start 23rd. Weebu will start 24th. William coming into this race second in points. He starts 26th. K-Sod alongside them in 25th. Noriboshi coming in third in the points. Starts 27th. Soleil starts in the 28th spot. They are sitting in 6th place in the points. Dogi Bird starts in the 30th spot. Merriweather sitting pretty close to Noriboshi in 4th place in the points, sitting 29th. Cali starts at the 31st starting spot. Kyoso starts 32nd. Our points leader of Aria, Starlight, starts at 34th spot. Lumen starts from 33rd. Sibu starts from the 35th spot. Henya starts from 36th. And last place for today's race, at least for the starting spot, will be the number 90 of Sprite. So a lot of interesting developments here to start this race, as we see a whole slew of drivers that were up front last week. They are in the back this week. And many drivers that have had success in this series, they start in the back. But as this track will show, starting doesn't mean much here at this track. With 150 laps around this track, it is shaking up to be another one of those races where it will not be where you start, it'll be how you finish. So 65 miles an hour is our pace speed for the day. Lower the volume just a smidge, not by much, but just enough. We'll get a good view of this little track here. This is what it's going to be like coming off of turn 2 down the backstretch. It is a very wide track, if you see. The cars are incredibly small compared to how wide the track is. There's a lot of space over in this right side of the track. And a lot of drivers are going to be utilizing it as we move forward. Like I said, 150 laps around this track. It is going to be one of those tracks where it might not feel like a long race, but it depends on how fast they go through these corners. It might end up being the difference between a long endurance race and a sprint race. It's a long race ahead of us here at this track. A very wide and very quick track. We're going to see 3 wide. We're going to see 4 wide. Pace car rolls into the pits. And Fu and Nana are going to bring us to the green flag to start this race here at California. Round 13 of the VTuber Racing 2024 season is underway here at California. And already several drivers fanning out 3 wide. Maybe some drivers going to fan out 4 wide, but they stay side by side going into turn 1. Fu clears going into 1 and off of turn 2. And they stay single file through the top 2, side by side on back. You see a lot of 3 wide action back there though. Pretty much everybody's 3 wide behind the top 2. How wide this track is, that can work. And to lead the first lap, it will be the number 17 of Fu. And a 42.531. We'll see what it's like, what the lap times are this time, now that they're up to full speed. David looking for second underneath Nana. He might be able to clear going off of turn 2. They're 4 wide behind. But it can work unless somebody makes a mistake. David cannot clear Nana into 3. He's going to be side by side with last week's winner of Lucky on the high side. Who's going to lead the first pair of laps? Got a lot of 3 wide action back here. This is back just outside the top 10. Watson, Fruit, DJ Overdrive looking underneath. In the short run here, you can make up a ton of positions and a ton of time. We're Lucky now. Nose and tail with the race leader. Looks low and will be trying to take the race lead away. Lucky trying to have a solid two race weekends in a row. One last week at Darlington after a solid pit stop, putting them out front. And they'll lead this lap here coming into turn number 1. Tairoki looking underneath Nana behind. And actually slides up and actually gets underneath the 17. And that's for second. The Lucky hangs out. Clears the 17, moves up high to block. You just see that they're starting to pile up behind. Not in a wreck, but they're just starting to stack up rather. The top 5 looking to drive away just slightly from the rest of the field. And Lucky led that lap by not even a 100th of a second, so it is very tight. Now the gap is starting to form just a little bit between many drivers. Long race though. We're looking at lap times just underneath the 40-second mark. So it's going to be a quick and solid race here. We're only 5 laps into 150 laps. But it is going to be a long race, but maybe not as long as what we've had in the past. Top 5 single filed out. Everybody else behind are double file at the very least. Lucky holds their own at the moment. About 2/10 of a second, about 1/10 and a half going into turn 1. Fu's still trying to get back the race lead. Lucky shuts the door on him. And he slides up the racetrack, and now Tairoki looks to make a move for the second spot. Can't do it. Blocks Lumi, trying to get up to 4th. So the top 4 are right on each other, but not super close. Fu again with a bad entry into 3, slides up on the exit. And that's gonna bring a gap between them and the leader. was about 0.2 of a second last time. It's 0.2 of a second this time. Fu with another run into one. Might be trying to take the race lead back. Car looks to be a little tight in the middle of the corner. Can't make the pass happen. Gonna try to stay side by side with Lucky going into 3. Might have some better luck there, no pun intended. They're going to be 4 wide behind him. No, they're going to be 3 wide behind him. David slides up big time. He's going to lose several spots. Lucky blocks high as Kairoki's trying to come through the high side. Gonna try and block again that high side. Kairoki has a run. Good block by the 6. Who's still looking on the bottom side to make something happen. Can't get it done. Venture through the field. Soleil and David, top 2 drivers in the points. They're so far up here. William and Auria, those 2, they hang back several spots back. There's some drivers that are a little bit behind this pack. Oh, whoa, contact in fact. Between Doggy Bird and Henya, they saved it, but wow, that was nearly a disastrous start for the 30 and the 3 machine. My goodness. And you are going to see that as this run goes on. You're going to see some drivers slide up. This track may be wide, but that doesn't mean that these cars are set up for this kind of race. They're going to slide up, and they're going to make a lot of mistakes, especially on the exit of 4. Turns 2 has a pretty good exit. As long as you don't slide up too badly, you'll be fine. But turn 3 and 4, it's a whole different story. Fu takes the race lead back here on lap 9. And take the lead away officially. Watson now looks underneath. Side by side again for the race lead. Sprite, who started dead last, all has made their way up to the front of this pack, looking for the race lead. It only took them 10 laps. So you can go from last to first in 10 laps in this track. That's just how incredibly crazy this track is. Many tracks, it takes you about 30 laps. This track, it takes you 10. Watson clears out ahead of everybody else, but they're 3 wide behind. Kason on the bottom, Sprite in the middle, Fu at the top. Kason's getting a shove by Soleil. They might be 3 wide for the lead. Sprite going to go through the middle and try to take the race lead away, but no help for that 90. Here comes Soleil underneath Kason. They're side by side. Kobo slides way up the racetrack several rows back, but she's fine. Gets it gripped up there near the end of that corner. That was almost a disaster. Now Kason leads here at California. And Soleil tried to take second away from Sprite. Noriboshi up in the picture as well, inside the top 10. Soleil looks low. Can't get underneath. Sprite might have a run here. No, here comes Fruit. Maybe peek it through the middle. Fruit's peeking middle. And they're going to be 3 wide for second. Going into turn 1. Soleil slides up just slightly. But Sprite's going to lose out on some spots here. Piles in behind the 84. Here comes 420. Tries to block high. Here comes Fruit. Wow. What a move by the 84. Saw that Soleil was going to do the block on the high side and just crossed her over. Can't make it stick on the bottom. They're 3 wide behind the top 2. Soleil looks low once more. Has a good run going into turns 1. A good run by Soleil here. The former points leader now takes control of the race here on lap 13. Still has not led a lap at the moment. Still have half a lap, I should say, to do so. Bit calmer going into turn 3 this time. Kason about a 1/10 away. Sprite. Single file for the top 3. Soleil's going to lead this lap with no question. So that's a bonus point there for them. They're 4 wide, just a couple cars back here. Let's get a look here. Merriweather, Soleil, or it's not Soleil, sorry. Philiad, Merriweather, Fruit, Cebu. So many drivers to name off of right here as they are 4 wide. They're 4 wide also very deep in the field. They get this down to 3. And get this one down to 3 and the other one to 3 wide as well. Actually 2 wide back there. But a lot of 3 wide action here. But like I said, 4 wide here, it does work. Unless somebody slides up. And it might cause some chaos. There's still 4 wide. A little bit of, ooh, they're getting tight. I don't know if 5 wide works, but 4 wide definitely can. This is back in for the 15th this is back behind the top 10. And there's just a lot of chaos right now. They're 5 wide, actually. No, they are actually 5 wide. They get it back down to 4, but there's 2 rows of 4 right now. So many drivers to name off. I can't name them off right now. You gotta have to look for yourself here. Weeaboo and Fruit are in the picture here, though. Fruit went from leading this race, now falls back, yeah, they're back behind the top 20. In just a span of, like, what, 3 laps? Not even. Single file through the top 5. And for the most part, single file. A lot more orderly here. They're starting to get it ordered out back here. I mean, I say that, but they're still kind of 4 wide. Weeaboo and Fruit still 4 wide up top. Overdrive and Risu there on the bottom. Now here comes Fu on the bottom. Weeaboo slides way up the racetrack. Way up the racetrack goes the 11. Almost in the wall. They get a run. They're going to get a run, though, behind. There's still 3 wide back here. But again, this is for 20th on back. Nowhere close to what's going on up front. I mean, good story to tell right now is the fact that this 90 car Sprite is up here in 2nd place. Might even look for the lead here momentarily. The reason why I say that is because they started in 37. It took them 17 laps to get up front. And here they come underneath for the race lead. And they're going to get it this time. So the 90 gets a lead lap bonus. They're 3 wide behind her. Tano Mizuki on the bottom, 3 wide with Kason in the middle. Now Soleil had to let out a little bit. Soleil's going to go from first to not even inside the top 5 in a span of about a lap and a half. A good showing here by that 6 car Lucky. Finished up front last week, started up front this week, and is still up front, even 17, 18 laps into this run. Far from over, though, obviously. So much can change within a 150 lap cycle, but assuming that it goes caution-free. Kason takes the race lead away. Hano Mizuki thought about looking middle, but he might actually look down low. Side by side for the race lead. This is one camera angle that we also haven't utilized here. This gets a shot of everything going on. It's one singular shot throughout the entire course of this track. They're 3 wide behind Kason, but she will lead once again at this race. Three wide behind. Iron Mouse building up some momentum. The 86 Hano Mizuki gets a run going into turns 3 and 4. He'll be looking. Take the race lead away. Oh, a little check up there on the middle of the corner. That's not only going to bring the 32 back into the picture, but here comes the 6, a Lucky. And here comes Iron Mouse. What a run by that 22. The 6 had to check out just a little bit. They're going to be 4 wide behind the top 2. The Dreamer on the bottom, Lucky in the middle, Iron Mouse in the middle. Oh, there goes Sprite. Sprite's losing out on a lot of spots right now. Hanging tough at the moment. That 86 is not going away at this very moment, but here comes Lucky again. It checks out just a little bit. Oh, Melody in the wall. Melody hit the wall, scraped it a little bit. has to check out of it a lot. They're going to lose a couple spots. I don't look like any damage. On that right side of that 36 car. Doesn't look like it. They stay piled up and behind. I think she lost, I want to say she lost about like 5 spots. 4 at the least. So no cautions yet here, and 22 laps complete. Hana Mizuki again trying the inside. Trying to take the race lead away from Kason. Alright, Iron Mouse right behind. Got Soleil once again back up front. Hana Mizuki does clear off of the 32. Now, Iron Mouse might be looking underneath for the race lead, unless the 86 chops. Well, here comes Soleil underneath Iron Mouse, though. Got to worry about what's going on in front of you and what's going on behind you. If you're leading this race, the only thing you got to worry about is what's going on behind you. At least then you don't have to worry about what's in front of you. If you're not looking both in front and behind you, you're going to be in trouble. Iron Mouse takes the race lead away. And I believe that is their first lap lead of the race, so that's a bonus point for them. They're still stacking up behind 3 wide. Single file for most of the back half of this field. Beefy rounds out the field 37th at the moment, but all 37 cars still in the main pack. So nobody's off the pace, nobody has had any issues so far mechanically that I know of. And hopefully it stays like that, because we haven't really had much issues like that. I talked about it last week at Darlington. Haven't had much issues with mechanical problems. Especially not very noticeably. Things are sorting out right now for this front pack. Single file through most of it. They're 3 wide behind the top 2. Dreamer on the bottom. Mizuki in the middle. Lucky at the very top. Soleil to second, trying to get back the race lead. It's going to be one of those races where the lead changes, they're going to be a plentiful, and it's probably going to be the most amount of lead changes we'll have all season. I predict. 4 wide behind the top 2, by the way. It was the same 3 cars that were 3 wide last lap, but now it's Lumi on the very bottom. They're getting a little stacked up here. And all this is going to do is just bring that top 2 a bit of a gap, because those 2 are running single file. Well, now they're running double file, but still the point still stands. They pulled out about almost a second. Check the gap between first to third. Sprite holds on to third. Iron Mouse still holds on to the points in front. Yeah, it's almost a full second between the top 2 to back here. That gap will close, especially if they stay side by side. But the gap will build if they continue being 3, maybe 4 wide. Kason on the bottom, Lumi in the middle. And Dreamer up top's going to lose a couple spots there. Sprite's joining this picture right now for the race lead. They're still side by side between the 420 and the 22, but now the 90 is starting to close that gap. Is now 0.3 of a second. They're going to be 3 wide for the race lead, and that's going to bring the gap back. It was about half a second, I should say, last time by, but here they come. They get single filed out. It doesn't take long for them to get back up to the front. Soleil clears off the 22. Runs up high, and now has a chance to get some more laps led here. Another thing is up for stakes here, the points, and that is a most laps led bonus point. These drivers want nothing more than another point, especially with how little points are given out. Each position is worth 1 point, but if you win the race, you get 3 extra bonus points on top of leading a lap. So you get 4 bonus points technically for winning a race. And if you lead the most amount of laps, you get another one. So that's 5 bonus points for winning, plus 43 points for being in first place, because that's how the point system is. 43 points for being in first place. 42nd goes to second place. But again, with all the bonus points involved, first place gets 48 points, and 42nd, rather 42 points for second, unless they lead a lap, and then it's 43 points. But it's still a 5-point difference between winning the race and finishing second. What really is going to help a lot of these drivers out late in the season is getting multiple wins under their belts. David and William know a thing or two about that. And if you get a win, that's 5 bonus points almost immediately, compared to finishing second. I mean, 4 at least, considering second place may end up also leading a lap. 4 bonus points. It's a 4-point difference between first to second if second place has also led a lap. But it'd be 5 if second place has not led a lap. But at this track and how this race has been so far, I wouldn't be shocked if more than half the field leads a lap in this race. It's getting pretty spread out here at the moment. But there's still some 3 wide action. In fact, they were almost 3 wide for 4th. They're going to be 3 wide back with Simu and Lucky and Watson. That's back for 6th. Actually, that's back for 5th. Soleil hanging on, though, for first place. Iron Mouse and Sprite, they're battling for 3rd, or 2nd, I should say. Kason trying to make it 3 wide for that spot. Lap times have dwindled down a second compared to their best lap. So 32 laps into this run, and tires are screaming for mercy right now. Pit stop should be coming up here shortly soon. I want to say about 45 to 50 laps on these tires. You push it any more, and you're gonna be begging. Your tires are gonna be begging for mercy. This is one of those tracks as well where if anybody wants to early pit, they'll get the bigger advantage. Especially if they're in the back of the field, they'll get a lot more ground made up because of that. But that'll cost them near the end of the run, though, because of how the tire wear is at this track. Still about a 1/10.5 between first to second. Iron Mouse is going to look underneath, though, try to get in a position to take the race lead away again. Can't do it off of turns 2. Soleil will maintain the gap going into turn 3. There's a good camera angle showing you how much of a game of inches this race actually is. As the race winds down. Maybe who can get the run off of these corners more and more. Single file through most of the top 10. And that is to be expected with the way that these tires have been wearing out. Iron Mouse lets out just a tad bit going into the backstretch. The top 3 are very evenly split. And here comes Sprite looking inside. It's underneath, but can't completely get there. And Iron Mouse has an opportunity to make something happen. There they come, side by side for the race lead. And Iron Mouse is going to clear. Another lead change here. And it's once again Iron Mouse back up top. All this single file, double file actions going on up front. Take a view back of the field here. Not a whole lot of action here. 3 wide back for 20th. with William, Bao, and Callie. Well, most of the action's going on back here. Soleil trying again to get the race lead back. Iron Mouse took it for 1, maybe 2 laps, and here comes Soleil back to the point. Closes the door up top. Sprite's now going to be side by side with Iron Mouse. And that's for second. Lucky still in this picture, though, in the top 5. Blocks up top. There's a 3-wide battle behind going on with Kason, Dreamer, and what was Lumi on the inside. They let out. Stay in the middle. Soleil once again with the race lead. Iron Mouse going to try and take it back again. Soleil with a good run out of turn 2 down the back. That's how close it is between the top 2. Iron Mouse trying to let out just a little bit earlier to try to get a run off the exit. And I'm noticing a lot of these drivers, most of them, if not all of them, they are running about half a lane to a lane off of that wall. We saw Melody hit it once already this race. This is one of those races where if you get involved in anything, it doesn't matter if it's anything big or small. You get damage to that car, you are going to struggle, both handling-wise and arrow-wise. You are not going to be in contention late in this race. 3 wide, maybe 4 wide for the race lead. Sprite's looking underneath. They are 4 wide. Maybe not for the race lead, but it might as well be. Sprite takes the race lead back. There's still 3 wide behind them. 4 wide, in fact, behind them. Lucky now to second. Dreamer to third. Watson to fourth. Dreamer slides up, gets a little tight off the corner. But yeah, that shot right there, that static shot going into the backstretch, that shows that they are running about a lane and a half. Maybe a little less than that, but not much less than that off of the wall. They'll get a good shot here. Watch how these drivers. They don't try to get close to that wall. They don't try to get close to that wall. Maybe not now, but maybe later in this race they might. But it is one of those tracks similar to Daytona and Talladega. You get any sort of damage, you are going to struggle, and you are going to hinder your chances at winning this race. I mean, every track's going to be like that, no doubt about that, but none more prevalent than these kinds of tracks. At a short track, I mean, heck, at Iowa, we saw somebody finish 5th and had no hood. At a short track, you can make damage work to your advantage. At a 1.5 mile track, maybe. At a super speedway, it is next to impossible to have a good race with damage on your car. Well, that's why these drivers aren't running super close to that wall. They're being a bit more conservative here. If they were to run full strength and run as close to the wall as possible, I believe these lap times would be down to 38 seconds. Because they're entering in these corners at about 190, but they check up to about 160, maybe a little less than that. And they don't get back on the throttle until like halfway through the corner. But right now, with only 42 laps completed out of 150 laps, we aren't even a full run through this race. These drivers are not going to try to take any sort of aggressive chances to make moves happen. It is still way too early in this race for moves to be made for the race lead, especially super aggressive moves. You can set yourself up for a good finish, but you have to make it there first, and we're about ready to have some drivers entering the pits. In fact, here comes everybody. Whoa, spinner! Noriboshi! I think no caution. No caution, but Noriboshi. Let's get a look. Let's get a second look. Yeah, it was Noriboshi getting spun. Yeah, just trying to enter the pits, and William trying to get a bit more of an advantage there. Just trying to get more of an advantage. And it just ended up resulting in the 94 going around. No massive damage, but track positions lost by that 94. A couple drivers actually went down this last time by. Only 3 at the moment. Only 3 from the last lap. Kyoso, Fifi, and Gura, they all pit last time by. But everybody else, they pit this time. So let's see where everybody comes out at. Sprite came in first, and she's going to come out first, it looks like. Yep. There's Noriboshi, who we saw get turned. They're going to be back in the 30s. Sprite's going to be first. Bit of a gap. Soleil in third, looks like. I assume so. Yeah. Let's see. Where did Kyoso and the other two come out at? There's Gura. There's Fifi. Let's see where everybody files out at. Let's see where Kyoso ends up at. They came in 1 lap before everybody else. Bold strategy call by the 47. That's going to put them... Let's see. That's going to put them 10th. So top 10 right now for the 47. That's a good call. That's a good call. That was actually a good call by that 47. They were nowhere near the top 10 before they pitted, and now they're in the top 10. It's a good call by the 47. So yeah, about 40 laps, we can make it into a run. So we're one run into this race, I should say. And the field has spread out dramatically. That's the biggest gap I've ever seen. Oh, the Eurobeat's still on? That was actually supposed to be off. 45 laps go. Whoopsies. That was actually supposed to be off a long time ago. Good thing that was mentioned. It looks like all the pit stops have taken place. I mean, it was only about 2 laps worth of stops. 3 cars, 1 lap, and then the rest of the field went down the last, or the lap after, I should say. The gap between first and second has dwindled a lot. It was a second last time by. Now it's half a second. So I don't know if Sprite... I don't know if anything is going on with that 90 car, but they are not running full song at the moment. Either that or the draft is really that key. I don't know. That 90 car does not look good at the moment. We have not had many mechanical problems. Especially if you have one this early in the season. It's better to have it now than late in the season, but right now it's only 4 cars battling for the race lead. And Soleil's going to take it back. Case on the other one, and so is Dreamer. That's 4 cars. Then there's 2 cars double file behind them. That's Simu and Iron Mouse. But they are more than 2 seconds back. They are packed up here for the top 4. Now Kason takes race lead back. There's Iron Mouse and there's Simu. They are they're 5th and 6th at the moment. William in 7th. Kelso's up a couple spots. I'm getting farther into this run here. They're starting to close that gap between the wall and their cars, so I think now a lot of these drivers that are deep in the field, especially this far deep in the field, they want to start setting some faster laps. Start getting some time made up. I don't know if that's going to help them or not, but we'll see. Go through the field here. Noriboshi ends up 29th after getting turned. Fu, the pole sitter, sits 36th, and Doki Bird sits 37th after all is said and done. So a not-so-good pit stop by both the 17 and the 3. They are currently in the need of a caution. They almost got it. They almost just got a caution. That was seriously close. Wow. Sprite and Soleil got together. That nearly resulted in pile up. Holy moly, that was close. There may be only 4 cars, but at least they're making it interesting. No doubt about that. Single file for most of the field here. There's a points leader sitting 20th at the moment. Not a super solid day, but when you are ahead of everybody by about 14 points in the championship standings, you can get away with having a not-so-great day. As long as the driver that's in second's also having a not-so-great day. I have 4 cars that are tangled up here by half a second. Then it's another second between that and 4th place, I should say. Iron Mouse is all by herself. Then it's Simu, another second back by himself in 5th. There those 2 are. Then it's Hano Mizuki, William, and Kyoso. They round out mainly the top 10. Merriweather trying to climb back inside the top 10, though. Near the end of the top 10. And right now, probably the most spread out race so far this early going in the race season. Well, how wide this track is, I was expecting it, to be honest. Especially as we got pit stops here, and these pit crews and all that, they vary between driver to driver. I mean, we just saw with Fu and Doki Bird, those two, they're struggling. They are struggling. Well, they're only struggling because their pit crew put them in that position. Side by side for the race lead. Iron Mouse is in the picture now. So it's a 5-car tango for the race lead. Around lap 52. Sprite leads that lap. Three wide for 3rd. Here comes Iron Mouse. Iron Mouse hit with a lot of steam. They just set their fastest lap of the race. Which I am not too shocked. I mean, with new tires, especially if you're by yourself, new tires, that's going to mean a lot. Especially for those that are wanting to have a good run here in this early going in the season. Especially for the championship. I say early going. We're almost halfway through this season. I still feel like it's early in the season, but we're almost halfway. 53 laps in the books. We are currently working on lap 54. Still no cautions here. We've had at least two documented close calls. There might have been maybe 1 or 2 that I may have missed. We had one that almost resulted in a caution with Noriboshi getting turned up in front of the track. But it wasn't a caution because everybody was pitting and there was nobody in danger of getting wrecked. Or getting damaged, I guess. So that did not result in a caution. We just had almost one between Soleil and Sprite. And there was one between Henya and I think Melody hit the wall. That was separate. There's been a few more incidents. I know Henya and Doki Bird. Yeah, Henya and Doki Bird. Those two almost got together. Iron Mouse and Kason just doored each other for the race lead. So that nearly resulted in a caution. It's getting very, very sketchy here for the top 5. They are 55 laps into a run, and now everybody's starting to turn the aggression on up here. I want to get an idea of how close they are to the wall. They got to be inching very close to that wall. Let's see what these two are running. Fu and Doki Bird. Fu about half a car off the wall, off of turn 2. Still a lot of space between the cars on the wall, so the outside wall, I should say. So they're making it work, I guess. Let's get a view back for out just on the edge of top 10 here. Let's see what they are doing here, because they are more 3 wide and double file. Ooh, they're getting tight. Whew, that was tight between Watson and Fifi. That's a good I still can't get over that good strategy call by Kyoso. Pit a lap earlier than everybody else and is now running 7th. He's actually looking for the 6th spot. They are 4 wide. They're going to stay 4 wide for a minute. And they get back to 3, and you're going into Kobo let out, and they're back to 3. But they are definitely trying to use up as much of this wide racetrack as they can. There is a little bit of contact there. A little bit more than... Oh, Lumi and Simu are in the wall. They get a little too hard on the gas there. That's going to cost them a lot. Anybody else? I think it might be just those two. Yeah, those. It looks like it was just those two. Not a lot of damage, obviously, but that definitely could have been big. Yeah, these drivers are starting to get a bit more and more aggressive here. Mainly in turns 3. Mainly in turns 3. Kason still holds to the race lead with Soleil in second, Sprite in third, Iron Mouse trying to get fourth. Dreamer is now in 5th still. That top 10 kind of breaks. That top 10, or I guess that second half of the top 10, that pack, that kind of broke up because of them getting a little too aggressive here. They are catching this pack of 5. That gap's down to about a second and a half. Soleil with the race lead. Soleil led the points at one point this season. He's trying to do it again. They're a little bit behind, but they can make up a lot of points here in this race. A lot of single file here throughout the top 10. Side by side for second with Sprite and Kason. Lap 75 will be the halfway mark of this race. And just about a couple laps after that, there'll be the second round of green flag pit stops, assuming we make it to that point under green flag conditions. Side by side for the race lead. Actually, make it 3 wide for the race lead. Here comes Sprite on the very bottom. Soleil will lead it. Might be 4 wide. No, they're not. They're going to stay 3. Oh, Dreamer with a big slide up on Kason. There's no longer 5 cars battling for the race lead. It is now pretty much everybody in the top 10. Yeah, everybody in the top 10. It's a 10-car pack. Ends all the way at D in the 87. And Kobo and Fifi battling for 11th at the moment. There's a lot of packs here right now. Vtuberen and Fu, they are 36th, 37th respectfully. I think Soleil just about clipped that wall. Doesn't look like they got into it, but they definitely look like they got close to it. Sprite with the race lead at the moment, but Kason inside. Soleil slides way up the racetrack and falls to 10th. Side by side for the race lead. Iron Mouse from the very top to the very bottom, 3 wide. Jesus. We aren't even halfway through this race. These drivers are trying to figure out what their cars can do. The first run was really conservative. Now this run, everybody's trying to be as aggressive as possible. I mean, the way that we just saw the pit stops and how spread out the field is going to get. Especially if they're 11th on back, they want to catch this main pack. So they can pit with them and stay up front with them. But my God. Seen a lot of aggressive moves this early in the race. Wright stays out front with a big shove by the 89. 3 wide for second. Iron Mouse slides about a half a lane up. Good Lord. Yeah, they are getting really close to that wall. That outside wall is getting really, really, really close for a lot of these drivers. In the case of Simu, Melody, and Lumi, they have successfully accepted that invitation to join that outside wall as a wall. And I'm scraping it a little bit. 11th on back starting to catch up just slightly. Fifi's joining the picture, and so is Kobo and Watson. And I think William is also going to join them too. He's got a bit of a gap there. Soleil again trying super hard to make something happen on that top line. Almost costed her as she almost just nailed that outside wall. 3 wide back here for 4th. Lucky is going to prevail out of that. Slides up through the middle. Pace on with the race lead at the moment. Merriweather and Soleil trying to make something happen behind. My goodness gracious. That was a move. I guess while we're at it, let's go on board with the 420 for a lap. Oh, a little contact between Fifi and Merriweather. Little door slamming. Whoa! Merriweather with a run. Kobo with a big slide. Yeah, from the looks of it, these cars are not handling well going into the corner. Yeah, look at that slide by Iron Mouse. Holy moly. Oh boy. Side by side for the race lead. And these cars, they're sliding up the track a lot right now. I don't know if it's because of the fact that we are about to enter our second green flag stage of pit stops. And these drivers have been racing the tires off this thing. Oh, there they go again. Oh, oh my lord. Another big slide by the 22. Another big slide. And that one was almost more costly than the last one. These drivers are getting more aggressive here. They are sliding up that. They are sliding up. Especially mid-corner, which is allowing the inside line to get somebody underneath them. Big block by the 90. Yeah, this race at one point was very, very lacking in the aggression meter, and that aggression meter has picked right back up to the top. In fact, I'd say it's peaking at the moment, the way that these drivers are racing the hell out of these cars. All I gotta do is just watch the driver like the 26, maybe somebody of the 10, or just watch the 90, my god. No matter if you're at the very bottom or at the very top, you're gonna slide up. These drivers are using up these cars, and they are sliding up. Yeah, there's Soleil. Oh, big slide. They are sliding all over the place. I'm amazed that they've made it this far. It's like every lap, or every corner, not even every lap, every corner, there's somebody going in way too deep. They're sliding way up the racetrack. Oh, man. That looks terrifying. I swore there was somebody getting turned. It's like, I want to look up front and see what's going on up front, because that's interesting. But no, I got to look back here near the middle of this pack. Also with a big slide up top. Fifi with the race lead. First time the 53 is leading this race, but they haven't led the lap yet, so they're not going to get the bonus point now. A lot of these drivers are just trying to manage that slide. Just trying to... these drivers... A lot of these drivers are going to be making some adjustments here. A lot of these drivers got to be making some adjustments on this next set of stops. I mean, they are almost right up into that wall. I want to get a couple more looks here at some of these packs because it's kind of broken up to two main packs. Got this pack here, 20th on back. Then you got this pack up here. Oh, D's in the wall, D's in the wall. They're fine. Bit of a little bounce off the 87. I think that was one of the worst hits I've seen. Looks like it. Well, they're still sliding up. Oh, a little too much of a slide there. That was close. I think that was Gura that slid up way too high. Well, it seems like everybody is sliding up big time here. They're trying to go like they have fresh tires, but their tires are about 35 laps into a run. Even more so now than the last run. They've been using up more of these tires than they did in the last run. Lumi almost got turned into the outside wall. Gura almost getting hooked by fruit. Things are starting to break out here. Several cars have lost that main pack. They're taking it more conservatively right now, knowing that they got to pit within the next 10 or 15 laps. There's some drivers still thinking that they got fresh tires on, and they're trying their hardest to run super hard. And now there's a lot of cars coming back into the picture here. Lumen 35th, Fu and Doki Bird 36th, 37th. But everybody's starting to come back together now. I mean everybody, all 37. A lot of single file here, but then you get back here, back to the near the back of the teens, I should say, and that's where you'll find a lot of cars have. Uh-oh, well, we're going to see some action here, it looks like. 3 wide for the race lead. Soleil on the bottom, Iron Mouse in the middle, and Fifi on the very top. It's going to be Mouse that leads this lap. Whoa! Fifi almost nearly getting turned by Mizuki, who goes through the middle. Fifi with a horrible exit of 4 is not only going to lose the race lead, but lost out on the top 5. Massive checkup by that 53. Nobody was going to take it as a checkup. They want this track position. But again, Soleil back up front. I said things were going to be a bit more conservative. Nope. They are still aggressive. They are right on that, right near the edge of that outside wall. I keep bringing it up because with how wide this track is, that shouldn't be an issue. But with how aggressive these drivers are, they're going to use up every inch of this track. That's what they do. Sprite takes race lead, but Fifi underneath. They are using up every inch of this racetrack. Every single one of them. Side by side for second between Fifi and Soleil. Fifi with a little slide, not a big one, but a big enough slide. Coming to complete lap 78. We are a bit more than halfway through this race now, officially. Fifi clears to 90 and now takes the race lead back. There's still, I would say, about, it goes back to, this pack is about 13, 14 cars. And they're all right on the top of each other's tails. Iron Mouse with a huge slide. Had to let out of it big time there. Checking the second pack right here. I think I saw somebody clip the fence. Looked like it. This is back in 15th spot. 15th on back, I should say. Pit stops on the way. I assume that some of those drivers that are in the back, they're going to pit earlier than everybody else. Try to make up some of that ground. More drivers sliding up here. Oh, Simu again in the wall. That's the second time today he's clipped that wall. He's overdriving the hell out of turns 3 and 4, and it's not helping him whatsoever. 28th spot right now, that's where he sits. I mean, there's action all over this place. Got action up front, you got action back in the 20s, you got action back in the 30s. See how everybody comes out this time by. Oh, Nana clips the fence. Not big, but just enough of a clip. Hano Mizuki leads that lap. Working lap 82. They should be coming in within the next 5 laps or so. Maybe a bit earlier. See how they come out this time by. All clean there. Pretty wide for second. There's a big gap between 36th and 37th. And now things are looking a bit more calmer now because there's a lot more action to come here with the next couple laps with pit stops. And after that, they'll have to make it a lap 120, and then after that, they should be good to make it. I mean, they'll be good to make it once they hit 110, 115, because they could run about 40, 45 laps. So anything after 115 in terms of pit stops, they'll make it to the rest of the way. But after this, there'll be one final pit stop that these guys have to make. 3 wide for the lead. Iron Mouse making it a big slide on the, up to the 90. My God. I guess these cars are gripped up enough that they can make that slide happen and make it work, I guess. My God. I have never driven one of these cars. It is quite different from what I expected. So no takers in the pits. Oh, we got trouble, I think. I think we got trouble. Yes, we do. Risu and Melody are around. That's going to bring out the caution. Look out, DM. Oh, DM gets... Oh, man. Trouble for the 37. They get caught up in the wreck. Caution's out. It has to be out. Yeah, it is. Risu with some rear end damage. My, oh my. It looked like there was trouble there. Let's see what happened. Okay, so it looks... Yeah, this looks very much like I expected. That Noriboshi washes up the track. Melody does the same. Gets right into her. And just down into the 2 car. And the 87 of D. So, Risu and Melody are going to have damage. D's going to have slight damage. And then right here, here comes the rest of the pack. Here's DM. Bam! I don't know what that 2 car was thinking. I want to get one more look at that. I mean, here comes the rest of the pack, and then just, whoop, turns right down. I guess at the same time, I don't think Risu was expecting DM to be all the way down the track. Bam! A big shot right to the back. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of damage to that, a lot of damage to both the 37 and the 2. Melody is going to be fine. Just a little bit of a spin right there. The ones that got the worst out of it, DM and Risu, they got the worst. Noriboshi is going to be fine. From the looks of it. Yeah. Noriboshi is going to be fine. DM's going to, or not, sorry, D's going to have probably the most amount of cosmetic damage, but that shouldn't be too bad. The caution's out on lap 86. And that's going to bring us to some pit stops here. Right on time, I guess. Right on cue. Got pit stops here coming up, so get to see some more action here under the pacing. And I would not be shocked if I saw everybody come down the pits. It looks like everybody's coming in. So I have to make one final pit stop here around, I would say a lot of these drivers will go until lap 130. Around there to make a stop. Hano Mizuki's going to come into the pits first. We're going to see where everybody shuffles out at. Depending on how these stops go, it'll be game-changing for a lot of these drivers. We're gonna get to see that 37 get a little bit of repairs done, but I'm gonna keep my eye on that 37 to see if they see how much damage gets repaired. They might not have a hood. That was a big enough hit where I think they might take the hood off. We'll keep an eye on it. Yep, I was right. Here goes the 37's hood. And DM's gonna be without a hood. Risu, I couldn't tell. I'll have to look when I get a chance to look. Sprite comes out first, Fifi in second, Iron Mouse third, Kason fourth, and Soleil the top 5. I'll go through the rest of the field here once we cross the line one more time, which should be 1 to go. I think it will be 1 to green. Should be. I'd assume so. 87 laps in the books here when we cross the line. We'll restart on lap 89 or lap 90, one of those two. You'll see the remains of that wreck there all night long on that apron. Coming to the checkered flag, or coming to the start-finish line, I should say. Should be getting the 1 to go signal here, I assume. But, yep, okay. So with that, let's go through the field here. So, Sprite hangs on to the points. First place, Fifi in second, Iron Mouse third, Kason fourth, Soleil in fifth, Dreamer in sixth, Lucky in seventh, Bao in eighth, Merryweather ninth, and Kyoso top 10. Enya in 11th, Mizuki comes out 12th, Philly in 13th, Lumi 14th, William in 15th, Watson in 16th, David in 17th, Overdrive in 18th, Gura in 19th, and Aria in 20th, Mel in 21st, Kobo in 22nd, Callie in 23rd, Fruit 24th, Weebu 25th, Nana 26th, Noriboshi 27th, Bimble 28th, Lumen 29th, and Simu 30th. Didi in 31st, Yogi Bird 32nd, Fu in 33rd, Hoodless DM in 34th, Tyroki 35th, Risu in 36th, and Melody 37. That rounds out how we're going to restart here on lap 89. From the looks of things, Risu still has that rear end all attached and all that, so I'll still keep my eye on them to see if they get any sort of performance issues or not. For the most part, the 37 to DM is going to be pretty much a non-factor in the rest of this race. Unless they get that front end repaired, which might happen. Little fun fact about that factory on the exit of turns 3 and 4, or in the background of turns 3 and 4, that was used in a Terminator movie. Anyways, green flag's back in the air here at California. Iron Mouse and Soleil were the first two to jump outside. Fifi's the one that jumps to the inside first, but Kayson's going to take him even lower, 3 wide for the lead and 3 wide behind. 4 wide behind the race leaders here. Got Dreamer, Soleil, Iron Mouse, and Sprite, and they are all over the place. Still 4 wide behind. Here comes Soleil. Oh, Sprite nearly gets into the wall. Whoa, big trouble. Iron Mouse and Lucky get around and bows around in the infield. Lumi gets involved. The big one is happening here in California. There goes half the field. Lumen's involved. Upside down goes the 22 and the 3. The 64 with no rear end. The 2 car is smoking. The 17, again, the pole sitter with the hood batched up in front of his face. Simu's all smoked up and destroyed. That is legit half the field. Weebu's destroyed. Noriboshi is, for the most part, destroyed. William is destroyed, and that's half the field. What just happened? What happened? Lucky slides up into the 22, and then they just start colliding with the 26, who then gets turned down in front of the rest of the field. And Overdrive gets some damage out of that too. So does Mel. Big hit right to the 84. There goes the 11 just spinning around. Bam! Right back into the 11. There's the points leader spun across the track. But I think with minimal damage at least. There's the 3 almost upside down. The 22 is upside down. And there's just so much to go through. I have a hard time going through it. Let's get another look here. So Lucky slides up right into the 6, right into the 26. And the 26 gets turned by the, wow, what a smart move by the 47. We'll get another look at him in just a second. Just a bam, look at that shot by Lumi in the 64. And how does the 22 get upside down? Boom! That was a shot by Fu. Oh, into Risu. That's how the 22 ends up upside down. Oh my goodness. My, oh my. That was a vicious shot. I mean, they were nearly 5 wide right here. Let's look at Kilso here. I saw that he went all the way down to the grass. Yeah, they are 5 wide right here. Does Kilso move out of the way and get a... wow. What an avoidance. Right through the grass. 10 gets shot up into the track. Slides across. Hits the 24. Then Callie turns to 24 even more. Callie hits the wall, I think. Gets close to it. The 99 with a bunch of damage. The 52 front loaded up with damage. Then Melody just slams the corner of Doki right up and over. Not over top, but over on 2 wheels at least. I mean, it's the big one. There's Simu, looking like he gets through it all, and then bam, right. Oh my god. That was a big shot by the 64. I actually didn't see that. I think he gets off on all 4. Wow. Oh my god. Not one tire is on the ground in that shot right there. My goodness. Jesus. Just when, she thought she was right through it all too. Man, oh man. I think DM gets a piece of it. Yeah, DM gets a piece of it, but not enough damage to hurt that 37 even more. My, oh my. And Weebu also gets a lot of damage out of this too. They look like they get through it, and then just BAM! Right into Gura, and that's pretty much game over for the 11. That was a hard enough shot. That's it for the 11. Oh my god. I think I pretty much covered it all. I think I pretty much covered it all. I mean, Risu even gave a shot to the end of that pit wall for good measure. Yeah, I want to say there's a good 3 or 4, maybe 5 retirees from this wreck. Oh my god. I mean, Iowa had a huge wreck, but that was near the end of the race. This is just past halfway. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Simu is completely done. There's no way that 99 continues. Oh my goodness. I mean, pretty much everybody from the back half of the field is going down into the pits. Oh my god. Well, 37 to DM may have no hood, but they are still in this race, I guess. Oh my god. I don't even know how many cars are... I don't know how many cars are left in this race. I can't really tell. I'm not going to be able to tell who's in and who's out. I mean, unless they start going laps down, I'll find out. The 52... They're going to look like they're going to get some of that repaired. The 0, or I guess the 2, yeah, they're done. Risu's out. Officially out of the race. The 11, coming back out. 52, with no hood. Is that the 22? I think that's the 22. Yeah, they had, yeah, 22. I think they're done for the day. Yoki Bird gets that rear end replaced. I think replaced. Yeah, gets it replaced. There may be some drivers that have a little bit of luck out of this. May have some minimal damage. I don't know about the 17, though. The 17 and the 22, they may be done for. I'm not going to be able to officially tell you who's in and who's still out. Until we get across the line again. I think I want to say the 17 and the 22, they're both done for the day. And the 22 has so much damage on pretty much all sides of the car. I wouldn't be surprised. If they still race, I mean, they're a warrior. I'll say that much. The 52, they've seen some better days. The 64 has no rear end. The 11 looks fine for the most part. The 26 has no rear end. And I think for the most part, that's pretty much that. Everybody from Sprite on up, they get away with minimal damage. 22 and I think the 17, they're still in the pits. No, the 17 is... I don't think the 17's a thing anymore. I think the 17 retired. Yeah, I'm not... Well, let's officially check. Is the 17 still on track? No, they are out. Okay, so Fu, Risu... Let's see. Risu's out... Fu is out. Simu is out, so that's 3 drivers out of the race. Iron Mouse is still in the pits, but technically still in it. Keisan in front, Soleil in second, Fifi third, Kyoso fourth, Henya fifth. Merriweather 6th, Hanamizuki 7th, Dreamer in 8th, Billy in 9th, Watson in 10th, David in 11th, Aria in 12th, Mel in 13th, 14th goes to Cali, 15th is Kobo, 16th is Lucky, 17th is Nana, Sprite is 18th, William in 19th, Ruth in 20th, DJ in 21st, Oriboshi 22nd, Tairoki 23rd, damage to the side of Melody in 24th, no rear end for Bao in 26th, 27th is D, Imbolin, 28th, fine, I guess, looking Weebu in a 29th. No rear end for Lumi in 30th. Gura 31st. Dokibird 32nd. A hoodless Lumen and a hoodless DM round out the field. Iron Mouse in the pits, and I think still getting repaired, and there's, I guess, 3 people. Yep, 3 people have retired from the race. Fu, Simu, and Iron Mouse, they have retired from this, or not Iron Mouse, sorry. Fu, Simu, and Risu have retired from this race. As the green flag's back out here on lap 93. Iron Mouse is 1 lap down, but still in the race. And still getting damage repaired. Keep an eye on that 22. They might be back out on track. By the looks of things, they're looking like they're getting that car repaired. And driver's being a bit more conservatively right now. Hopefully. Because that big wreck took out a bunch of cars, and Iron Mouse now down 2 laps. But if they get out, they get back out on track and just run 1 lap, they'll finish at worst 33rd. Iron Mouse led a couple laps here today too, so they are going to also be able to bank on the fact that they had a lap led, so they'll get a couple extra points as a I guess as a way to just kind of salvage something. They're still 3 wide, but that's fine. 3 wide's fine, 4 wide maybe fine. Or you get up to there where it's kind of getting a little iffy. And then DM, I think, also went back into the pits. Yeah, DM went back into the pits. I think the 22 is not on track. There's DM. DM is on track. Let's see, is Iron Mouse still on track? No, Iron Mouse has retired. Okay. So, 4 cars are out of this race. And DM goes back into the pits. They are now 1 lap down. And they're going to lose a lot more than a lap here as well. But yeah, 4 drivers out from that wreck. Fu, Risu, Iron Mouse, and Simu. Those 4, they are out of this race. And they'll finish in the bottom 4 spots. Wow, what a wreck. That might have been one of the biggest wrecks I've seen all year. I mean, that had a majority of the field in shambles. The driver that missed it all, in fact, had a smart move and cutting all the way down to the inside grass almost. They're up to 2nd right now. That's Kelso at 47. And yet a 3rd, Dreamer in 4th, and Watson so far hanging on to 5th, but they're side by side behind them. DM back out on track, and they are now 2 laps down. My oh my. The thing is too, is that wreck was just 2 wrecks in 1. Because you had Iron Mouse getting turned up track, but that would have been it. But then Bao get turned off of the 89, the Dreamer, and that's what caused basically the entire track to just be a absolute battlefield. All it takes is just that. And next thing you know, you got 20, 30 cars damaged in a wreck. Especially if that happens right up at the front of the field like it just did. Wow. It's just an absolute crazy wreck right there. But that being said, right now what we got ahead of us is we still have 1 final pit stop that these drivers have to make. And they'll make it within the next, I want to say, 25 to 30 laps. Coming to complete lap 98. Top 4 have spread themselves out by more than a second over the rest of the field. Single file through the top 4 with Soleil out front, Kyoso in 2nd, Dreamer 3rd, Henya 4th, and on back. Right now it's Mel in 5th, but they are really tightly battling each other behind them. know a lot of these cars were involved in that wreck, but the thing about it is just a lot of these cars, we've seen some impressive repair jobs being done here in this series that I give the pit crews a lot more credit here. There's a lot of drivers that shouldn't be up front, but they're hanging on at the very least. And Weebu was one of those cars I thought was... let's go back to the 11. While struggling at the moment, I thought this 11 was game over for the race, and they're fine. 26, while not having a rear end, they are hanging. They're hanging with the pack, which while it's not completely bad to hang on to the back of the pack, especially with the damage that they have, I'm more surprised they're hanging with the pack to begin with. The top four have single filed, or stay single file, but on back, fifth on back. Since they're getting single file, they're catching this 4-car train right now. It wouldn't surprise me that these drivers that just got involved in that wreck, or just saw what happened, wouldn't surprise me if we see a lot of these drivers decide to take it more conservatively and decide not to race each other until it's a couple laps to go. Because right now, there is still so much time left to be had in this race. There's still a little less than 50 to go. And there's also one pit stop left to be had as well. So, pretty much after that final pit stop, it is go time for these drivers. But they have to make it. There's 4 drivers that aren't going to make it to that pit stop, let alone the finish of this race. And I don't think these drivers want to be a part of that number and make that number go up. Side by side for second. Dreamer is looking for that second spot. And Dreamer's been showing up to the last couple of weeks. That's been a sleeper, pretty much. No pun intended. He's been a sleeper in the last couple of races. He's been finishing up front the last couple of weeks. However, right now, he's not going to be able to make that pass happen for second. He's actually going to move back a couple spots. Henya's up to third, and right now, Mel's looking to take that 4th spot away. Field's starting to spread out just a little bit more, which is a nice sight to see after that big wreck that we just had. Kelso looking for the race lead. And Henya's going to have to pick a lane here, and they're going to pick that middle lane. I don't know if that was by choice. That car looked pretty tight. As the thing about these cars, though, is that these drivers can make adjustments in these cars to try and make something happen for them late in the run. But they're going to have to do it on this final pit stop here. So whoever can make that final pit stop work with the adjustments, they're going to be the one that's going to be out front here once this checkered flag waves. He also falls back to third, maybe 4th place. Henya moves up to second. Looks like that bottom line is just starting to lose a little bit of grip here as a lot of drivers try to use that bottom line, but they can't make it work. And they're losing out on a couple spots. Kelso back to 4th, Dreamer back to 5th, and Kobo in 6th on back. They are tightly together. Top 3 stay single file, nose to tail for the most part. It's going to stay calm at this moment. Maybe a side-by-side battle here and there. It's going to stay calm compared to what we just saw. Because of what we just saw. And if you really want to see how conservatively these drivers are having it right now, just wait until we get into turns 3 and 4 and watch that static cam coming off of 4. See how close these drivers run to the wall. I mean, they're running right next to the bottom line here, going into the corners, which is not something we saw earlier. And they're still running about a lane, maybe half a lane off the wall, so they're still trying to get as much done as possible. But they are trying to also not... I mean, these cars don't look like they're driving super great at the moment, too. A lot of these drivers have been sliding up the track when they're trying to make something happen. I don't know if that's over-aggression by these drivers or if that's just how the car's running. But I've seen it a lot of times, especially after that second, or near that second run, or second green flag pit stop, where there was a lot of drivers struggling to find grip on that bottom line, and they were sliding up the track. They're 3 wide for second behind Soleil, and at this moment, I want to say Soleil's going to have the most laps led, bonus point given to them. The way that they've been conservatively running, plus with the fact that Soleil's also been out front for a majority of this race, I'd say unless Sprite or Kason can come back up front and lead the rest of the 50 laps that we have left, or almost 42 laps, and it's going to probably be this 420 that's going to get that bonus point for leading the most amount of laps. There's a almost 3 wide battle for the race lead. Here comes Mel to the bottom. They're going to stay side by side down the back. Nope. Mel lets... Don't think they had a good exit there, and they're going to lose that battle. Still the 420 out front. Oh, a little contact. I think there was another bit of contact between Dreamer and Kason. I think. Yeah, that or a very aggressive block. One of the two. I saw the 89. I think it was the 89 looking like they were getting... They were making really bodacious moves down to the right side. Actually, the inside of the track. The left side. But they're fine at the moment. Nothing crazy looked like it happened there. It's Kyoso down on the bottom trying to make something happen. Can't make it work. They're going to let out big. Side by side for second. We've got less than 40 laps to go. Like I said, with one final pit stop here, once they hit lap 115, I mean, they'll make it the rest of the way, no question. Then it'll be a question of who comes down and who decides to come into the pits. 3 wide for second. Soleil building a big gap for the race lead at the moment. About what? Oh, about 3/10? Okay, I thought it looked like a second, but it was close. 4 wide. Kobo taking it 4 wide. Mel had to let out of that gas completely, and they're going to lose outside. They're going to be outside the top 10 now. Fillion's in the picture as well as Auderia, so the points leader still in the picture despite getting slightly involved in the wreck. And you're hanging on to third. Kyoso hangs on to fourth. Still battling, though, with Fillion on the inside. A lot of time still left in this race. Right now, this is, I want to say, a pack of 20. It goes back all the way to Fruit. Pack of 24th, so about 24 cars in this pack. Everybody from 25th on back, they are more than 2 seconds back from that pack, but they're also more than 4 seconds behind the race leader. Lumen and Gura are 2 drivers that have completely lost this pack. And Gura's back 31st, more than 8 seconds, maybe more than 9 seconds back, and Lumen's all by himself in no man's land. Yeah, there they are to get... Oh, actually, no, that's the 2 hoodless cars together, bunched up. Lumen and DM together. DM, though, is 2 laps down in 33rd. Lumen's 32nd. On the lead lap, but there's Gura by herself going into turn 3. Everybody else is coming off of 4. Well, everybody's coming past the line. Sprites all by herself. Merryweather, Overdrive, Tyroki, Bao and Weeboo. They're by themselves. They're going to have to rely on a good pit stop. And they're also going to have to rely on an early call, too, to make that work. Maybe even a caution. I think at this point, Soleil has locked up the most laps led. It was a question about 10 or 15 laps ago. Now it's probably not even a competition. Soleil, a former points leader, still has not won a race this season. Has come oh so close multiple times. Finished second in Martinsville. Finished second at Talladega. And that's just two of probably a couple other races that I have failed to mention where they finished inside the top 5. And Henya needs to have a good run here today because they have not had a very good showing here within the last couple of races. They haven't been as consistent. They're double file for the first 3 or 4 rows. And that inside line is not a good... I will say, I don't know if it's the inside line having horrible times trying to pass people, or if it's Soleil having a really solid car on that middle line. Because there's a lot of drivers that can make that inside line work, but once they get up to the front of the field, it is almost impossible to pass that 420. They cannot get that bottom line to work against her. See if Koso can do anything underneath Henya. I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Aria is almost in the top 5, battling with Fillion on the high side. At 24th, finishes inside the top 10, then the points lead is going to expand even more. Like I said, coming into this race, it was a 13-14 point deficit between first and second in the points. That might change after today. Maybe increased. Maybe an increase. Henya underneath Soleil for the race lead. I thought they were going to clear. Doesn't look like it. Soleil trying to fight back on that high side. And I'll be amazed. That 420 is strong on that high side. Hanging on at the moment. Got 30 laps to go here at California. Side by side behind for second. And right now this car right here is hooked up on that middle line. And it is holding on really well. Now the question is can they get a good pit stop? They've had, I think the last time when they pitted under caution, they had a pretty solid stop. Gained a few spots. They are going to need to have one final good stop here. You saw what would happen if you had a good stop under green, and that is you would have about a second and a half gap. The field would be split into many different packs and cars. Right now, that'd be a good thing to see if you are 420 machine. You want to be out front by yourself. Well, out of a small pack, or a small gap, I should say, right now. Aria's trying to get underneath Kobo for second. They still haven't led a lap today, which would be really detrimental to them later in the season if they continue to have the stretch where they don't lead a lap. I mean, no matter how many laps you lead, it's just as long as you lead one lap, you'll get 1 point. So a lot of drivers try to take that risk early on to lead a lap and then try to finish out the job late in the race. A lot of drivers like to hang out in the back, start in the back, and then crawl back up front and finish strong and lead a lap late in the race. I mean, no matter what you decide to do, it's still a bold strategy. Do you lead early and get a point early on, and so you only have to worry about finishing the race in a solid position, maybe even the win? Or do you start in the back and realize that you can then finish out strong and lead a lap late in the run? When you have an opportunity to not only do that, but finish strong, if not win the race. I think that's what the 24 has been doing for all this season. They have not really been up front. I mean, they've been up front many times, but they have been up front late in the race, which is the most important thing. They don't show up until late in the race, and that's when they show up, and they show up the most. They're right now currently in 5th, trying to get up to 4th underneath Mel. But it would be something. It's crazy to think how qualifying is a strategic strategy by a lot of these drivers. Getting a pole doesn't do you any favors. Getting a win does. Leading a lap does you more favors than getting the pole. They're coming up on these two hoodless machines, Lumen and DM. They're coming up on them. I don't know if they'll pit beforehand. Kobo finally gets clear of the 420, so now Soleil has lost the lead. And like I said, it is a 4-point difference between 1st and 2nd. And that's if you finish 1st and 2nd. So, 2nd is really not supposed to be accepted by anybody here in this series. You want to get those 4 extra bonus points. You never know, the championship may come down to a 4-point battle between maybe not 1st and 2nd in the points, but maybe a position. There's going to be many positions that are going to be up for grabs late in the season. Especially knowing that we're also going to have 2 heat races, untelevised heat races late in the season, where many of the drivers from deep, and I mean deep in the points, they have a chance to make up some points. Not enough to become a champion, but enough to at least have a salvageable end of the season. Somebody from 35th in points maybe could end up 20th in points because of those 2 heat races, and maybe have a chance late in the season to climb inside the top 15. But that's just late in the season, and like I said, that's where we hit the final stretch of the season. We finally got our green flag pit stops going on right now. I see a lot of drivers peeling off. 4 from the main pack. None from the second pack. With Soleil start, I think Noriboshi. Noriboshi, and I'm trying to see who else is that. There's 4, maybe 5 cars in the pits. Can't tell at the moment. No, that's Lumen. They're see, it's hard to tell what they are. It's hard to tell who's who. You don't have a hood. Got some more drivers pitting. Gotta watch it. We had an incident early in the race because of people pitting. Almost had one with Mizuki in the wall. There's a couple more in the pits there. Mel, David, Melody, William, Weebu, and Tyroki. There's Nana. A little bit of damage on the front end of that 85, probably from the wreck that ensued the restart. And they come back into the pits. That's pretty much the rest of the field. There's still some drivers still have it pitting, but right now that's pretty much most, if not majority, of the field. Currently, Fillion and Kyoso, everybody from 1st to, I believe, 6th, they have not pitted. Billion stays out this lap. Kyoso comes in. This is only hurting these drivers more. Well, it's hurting them in the short run, but with 20 laps to go, it might help them out late in the run, but I'm not entirely too confident in that. We'll have to see here. Unless the 78's also trying to see if a caution comes out, they can trap a lot of drivers one lap down, or tail end. That is also a bold move, too. But they're missing out on a lot of track positions right now, and I think they're coming in this time. Yeah, they are. The only one not pitting is the 3. 3 and I think the 86. I think those two have not pitted yet. Doki Bird leads a lap. That's a bonus point there to the 3. There's only 3 or 4. No, there's only like a handful of cars on the lead lap right now because everybody else has pitted. Pokebird coming in this time? Nope. They are not. The 3 and the 86 still have not pitted. I think Sprite has just now pitted. If not, they have not pitted yet. Currently leading the charge for the drivers that just pitted. So far, again, Soleil. The Kobo's right there to also try and pounce. Using that 86 as a pick. .37 at DM goes back into the pits. Lumen hanging out right around these 5 other drivers. Kayson's in this picture as well, and she's third out of the people who have pitted. 3 cars have not pitted, and that's the top 3. Everybody from 4th on back, they have pitted. And they're just waiting for these 2 in front of them, or these 3, I guess, in front of them to pit. Try to get that lap back. Doki Bird's pitting. I think Mizuki wanted a pit, but they got trapped on the high side. I guess that's what you get for not deciding to pit. Sprite, yeah. I think Mizuki wanted to pit, but they are trapped on the high side here, so they are not going to be able to pit that last time by. They should be able to pit this time by, though, because there's a big gap between Lumen and the rest of that pack. Yoso's up here as well. There's DM back out. The 2 hoodless cars have been caught. Thank you for the head pat, Soul. And there goes the 86, finally in the pits. So there we go. That ends the cycle of green flag stops. So that leaves 16 laps to go here at this race. Top 3 right on top of each other. Then it's a gap on back to what would inevitably be 4th on back. Kyoso, William, Mel, those 3, they got to deal with Lumen. I think that's Lumen. I don't know. Lumen and DM both have similar looking cars in terms of, you know, the paint scheme and the fact that they also have no hood after the big wreck. Well, actually, DM lost theirs on the first wreck, but Lumen lost theirs on the second wreck. Yeah, that's Lumen. Okay, cool. Kyoso's underneath, and they're going to get up past. So now it's just going to be a game of whether or not they can catch this pack of 3 here. No matter what the result is for Soleil, they have to be at least impressive, or at least impressed with the fact that they are going to lead the most amount of laps this race. Although a win would definitely help. Them sitting 6 in the points. Back by, I think, 46 or 47 points. Exactly, so they definitely need something out of today. They got a good showing for them right now, but Kyoso is looking really fast on that bottom line underneath Kason. I don't know if these drivers made any sort of adjustments. That's one thing here. If any adjustments were made, they're going to be shown here within the next 14 laps. Soleil has been incredibly strong in that middle line. It's going to be a question of whether or not we're going to be able to hang on for it for another 14 laps. It's a long ways away. Kelso's looking strong, though, on that bottom line. He made up all that time, and he's now underneath Kobo. That's the advantage that he gets for pitting a couple laps later than everybody else, so that is something we're looking at. A mightily strong 47, looking for not only second, but looking for first. 39.882 compared to a 40.1. They are faster. Catching them's one thing, passing them's another. Those up to second. And it's going to take long to look down low. Let's see if that 47 is as quick as he's been showing. 3 wide for second. I think that'll probably do it for the 47. Yeah, with them being 3 wide, that is a bold move by the 32 at Quezon. Kyoso's now up front. Still 12 to go. A lot of time left. There's still 3 behind. A lot of our races have seen last lap passes. Last lap passes are aplenty in this series. If not, last lap passes, a lap and a half. So it's far from over for this 47 machine. It's far from over from anybody inside the top 10. This race goes caution-free. It'll probably be a 10, maybe 15 car pack for the win. There's a big gap between the end of this pack, which is Henya, to the start of the next pack, which is Noriboshi. So hangs out up front, but slowly looking underneath for the second spot. The question of whether or not they could quickly get back single file after they could get side by side, because that 47 could easily pull out to a pack, or a gap, I should say. A little bit of a slower lap there by the 47. Don't know if the 47 is good and fast behind other cars, but then gets out front and then just has a little bit of trouble with the handling of the car. Not a lot of drivers have complained about that, but that is a possibility. Solely up to second. They're side by side behind, so it's a bit of a gap there. So there is a chance for a race lead to change hands here with 10 to go. Lumen's in this pack, and he's hanging on right now. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing it. That's insane by that 52. Here comes the pack behind, though. Mel's in the picture. They are starting to tightly get back together. Side by side for third. Kobo up top and Mel to the bottom. Solely with another chance at the lead. Might be a bit too early to say anything, but that is a strong race car at the moment. But there's a stronger car in second place looking for it again. But it's insane to me how this 47's strong behind other cars, but they struggled to get that handling going out front. Another lead change here up front. It's Kelso again, taking back that race lead. They'll be side by side still for second. Actually, Kobo will hang on to third and block that run coming from the top. Eight laps to go here at California. 2 cautions today. With the way that this has been going on, maybe there's a chance for a third, but if it does happen, it's going to have to come either now or never. Because time's winding down for a lot of these drivers, and the aggression might pick up a little too much. Single file through a lot of the top 10. Top 5, in fact, for single file, but I don't know about on back. Side by side for the race lead. Here comes Soleil back inside. Are they strong enough to clear off 4? A little bit of a check up there. I don't think they're going to get... Well, they're going to stay side by side. I'd say dead even. Ooh, that's tight. I think Kyoso got it. It ain't by much if he did. Yeah, he got it by barely a hundredth of a second. Soleil back out front. Clears off the 47. Will they block high? I mean, they got to block somewhere. They're 3 wide behind. Let's go up top. Tries to block low. 47 with a huge run looking underneath. A big block. That's going to stall out that 47's run. Maybe not enough to completely turn them away, but enough to delay the inevitable by a corner. Soleil again leads that lap. 6 to go here at Auto Club. Big push by that 69. That's going to help the 47 out a lot. And thanks to Mel, Kyoso's back out front. They stay side by side behind. They're starting to pile up here behind. Get more aggressive, like I said. 3 wide for second. Oh, Soleil tried to take Kyoso 4 wide for the lead. That would have been a move. That would have been a move. Now here comes Soleil again, down low. Kyoso tries to block. Can't make it happen. Soleil will lead that lap by not much. About a tenth of a second that time. Not even a tenth, actually. Sorry, 100th. 3 wide behind. Lucky now up in the picture. Can Lucky go 2 in a row? That's another thing. She's back out front. She won last week at Darlington. They have a chance to go 2 in a row, which is something only William has ever accomplished. Back at the Roval of Charlotte and Michigan. Four laps to go here at California. It's anybody's ball game inside the top 10. Soleil tries to block high. That's opening the door up for the 47 down low. Here he comes. Here he comes. They're trying to pinch. Can't pinch hard. Can't pinch super hard. They'll get in some trouble there. They'll get you in trouble from experience. Still side by side. A good run by Soleil, but here comes Lucky making it 3 wide for the race lead. Soleil's been strong in the middle, but can they be strong on top? Hangs on by a thread. Big push by the 69 up top. And now they move down middle. Soleil still leads that lap, but with 3 laps to go, still up top. Things are going to get only spicier. They're 4 wide. Lucky comes out ahead of everybody. 4 wide behind. Henya now to second. Kyoso hanging on to third up top. Soleil trying to salvage something out of it. They're still being up top 4 wide. 2 laps to go. Can it be a 2 in a row for the 6 car? Kyoso with a big run up top. He's got a huge run going into turn 1. They are 4 wide behind the top 5. The points leader, Adria Starlight's in the picture. Right now it's 3 cars tangled in a mess together. Kyoso takes the race lead away. Henya close to being up to second. Soleil drops outside the top 10. I don't know where they're going to be heading into the white flag, but it's going to be white flag for the 47. Bit of a gap between them and Lucky, Henya, and Kason, who take each other 3 wide for second. Big gap here between first and second. All by himself, in fact. It doesn't look like anybody's going to catch him this time. It's going to have to be a turn 3 move if they're going to make it work. Into turn 3, side by side for second. Henya looks underneath for second place, but that's all Kyoso wants to see. Off a turn 4. Down for the final time. Kyoso wins it at Auto Club. strong run by that 47. Right place, right time. What definitely helped them at the end right there was Pena and Lucky going side by side for the second spot. One final look at some of the results here based on the numbers. Soleil led most amount of laps this race. They're going to finish 20th. They went from 1st to 20th in 2 laps. Holy shit. That's... my God. Welcome to Auto Club. 4 cars out from the race, from the wreck that happened earlier in the race. 3 cars still finished the race multiple laps, or a lap down or multiple. Lumen, Gura, and DM, 1, 1, and 3 respectively down. We'll go through the results more in depth here just in a second. What a race. And just like that, that is all she wrote here from California. Let's quickly get a result check here. 7 laps led for Kyoso puts him out front at the end of the race. And I talked about how it's a 4-point difference between first and second in the points. Well, that's accounting for the fact if second place leads a lap. Pena did not lead a lap. Still finishes second. But Kyoso's going to get 5 points on top of everybody else. Or 5 bonus points, I guess, compared to second place. That's how much of a difference it is in the point standings. But the top 2 both started in 32nd or worse, so that's how this track is. In fact, 4 drivers started 30th or worst, but finished top 10. Top 2, or 2 of those, I should say. Cali finishes 6th after starting 31st, and the points leader, Aria Starlight, started 34th and finishes 9th. Kason led 25 laps, but not enough to be the most laps led. But they finished 5th, and we'll scroll down slowly through the results here. Kobo in 4th, Fifi in 7th. Watson gets 8th place. Noriboshi rounds out the top 10, which is a good finish for them. William in 11th, Billion in 12th. Melody 15th, and Doki Bird 16th after leading about 3 laps, staying out. Soleil leading a whopping 56 laps to lead the most amount of laps. But unfortunately, they're only going to get 20th place out of it, so a good run near the end of the race, but not enough to seal the deal, which would have been a huge points day for them if that would have been the case. David 21st, so not much better for the drivers that are top 10 in the points. And then as we scroll down this list, we'll slowly see the drivers that have struggled all throughout the day, including Lubin, finishes 31st, 1 lap down, Gura 32nd, 1 down, DM 33rd, 3 down, and then we get to Fu, Risu, Iron Mouse, and Simu. 4 drivers that left the race 60 laps earlier than everybody else because they got involved in a big wreck that took place near the end of the race. 43 total lead changes split across 13 different drivers, so 13 drivers get the bonus point for leading a lap. And that was with 2 caution flags throughout the entire race. Let's get a points update here real quick before we show the outro. So there's points coming out of today's race. It is a 2-point increase between last race to this race for the points. So 15 back is William in second. Noriboshi 22 points back. In fact, top 8 have not changed at all. The top 8 still stay exactly as they started. And the only difference between last race to now is the gaps between each other. They are a little bit more split between the top 8s. Right now it's between second to third, it's 7 points. Between third to fourth is about 17 points. I'll get it eventually. So a 17-point difference between Noriboshi and Merriweather. Merriweather to David is only a handful of points, which is nice to see. So David could get 4th place in points if he has a good race next week. Soleil's back 55 points away from the points leader, I should say. And they sit 14 points away from David in 5th. And they are 8 points above Mel in 7th in the points. So there's still some opportunities to gain and lose spots here for them. They have so far led the most amount of laps this season so far. They have led 164 laps. The next closest is our points leader with 147. Today was a great day for Soleil. They led the most amount of laps, and that puts them in 1st place in the amount of laps that have been led throughout the course of the season. So far, that's out of 13 races, though. But where we see a lot of changes go on is once we get down to 9th place on down. And I'll show them, even though it's really nothing special. So we'll show what's going on down here. Everybody has moved either a spot or more. Kelso gained 7 spots. He's just outside the top 10 in points. And, I mean, him and Henya gained a lot. That's 6 spots gained for Henya, but they still sit 15th. As the season goes on, I'm not going to really talk a lot about what's going on deep in the points because it's not going to really matter in the long run. As the season goes on, it's only going to matter what's going on inside the top 10 in the points, which is what we are seeing right now. So with that out of the way, that is what the points look like going into next week's race at Verdugo. Like I said, an interesting mix of track design, if I will say. It's similar to Pocono, how it's shaped. It is a triangular 3-turn track, but it's hard for me to explain it without showing it off. But I'll show it off next week. We go uphill, we go downhill, and we have some right turns in the process. We have a very tight last corner, a hairpin nearly of a turn to end off a 3 right turn triangular track. Then after that, we go to Fuji. And then after that race, we go to Bristol. So a couple different styles of tracks coming up next here in the next 3 weeks. Got a triangular, I don't want to say oval, but a triangular track. We have a road course, and then we have a short track. So that's what the next couple weeks will bring us here for the VTuber Racing 2024 season. That out of the way, congratulations to Kelso for the win. I'll be back next week, next Sunday, this Sunday, whatever, with Verdugo. That out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and good night.